Hi everyone, it's Jules. Welcome to my channel. I'm excited to have an awesome guest today, the lovely Tabitha.
Hey.
And she's joining me to talk about something that we both have a decent amount of experience with, which is, if you can't tell by the title, being Black.
Being Black
in Iceland.
Yes.
And our experiences with being people of color, especially women of color on this island in the middle of the Atlantic. So if you're interested in hearing about that experience, make sure to stay tuned. But before you keep going on, make sure you subscribe so that you're getting all the new posts and videos that I'll be uploading very soon. So let's just jump right into it.
Yes.
Being Black in Iceland, what exactly is that like? We have, a couple of different experiences, some challenges, good things.
Yeah.
So let's start off with, which could be good and bad, Icelandic curiosity. Getting stared at by people.
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
For me, I think at the start it happened more, maybe along my street, like it was happening a lot. And I was just like, why are they staring at me? I actually forgot I was Black. I actually forgot that.
That's nice.
Yeah, because I see other Black people. I'm like, okay, there's a Black person, there's a Black person, there's a Black person. I'm like, why stare at me? Like, do you stare at every single Black person, or is it just me? Yeah. So people stare while driving by, or like on the bus, or just anywhere. There was this lady, she used to stare at me every day.
Yeah. Wow.
At the bus. Yeah.
And not say anything.
No.
Wow.
So I would just stare at her. I would just stare at her.
You just stare back and be like, we're just gonna have a staring contest.
We're just gonna have a staring contest, but usually like it results in them just like
looking
away most times, yeah.
Okay.
Or trying to prove a point that they're not staring at you by carrying on staring.
I'm staring through you.
I'm staring through you.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, I've had that experience. I've had people, smile as well. Stare and smile. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's much nicer.
It's much nicer, yeah. Or even talk to me, say hi, and that's nice. But I've realized that I try not to pay too much attention or get offended.
Yeah, and also like you start to at some point don't even notice it all the time.
No.
Yeah, it's funny because I was living in these places outside of downtown, and I still am living outside of downtown.
Yeah.
So it is even more apparent because there's even less people of color there. And when you go to the store or whatever else, like people do stare. And I've had a woman, I was walking down the street in Árbæ, and she's driving, and you're talking about driving, and like she was like breaking her neck, right? And I was like, you're gonna get into an accident.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, do I have something on me? Like, what is going on, right?
I actually have almost stopped traffic a few times, and I'm like, no, you go, and they want to stop just to stare.
People, this is not a phenomenon. Melanin is all over the world, okay? Yeah, that part is weird. And then in the grocery store, there was a little kid who was just like, right? I was like, does he think I'm like walking and talking chocolate? You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. So I you spin it in a way to make yourself feel like no big deal, but you sometimes don't know. However, I've never been, no one's ever said anything like nasty to me or make me feel like. No,
that's happened to me though.
That someone said something nasty to you?
Yeah. Okay. One night I was walking with my friend and we were walking back home and someone rolled their window down and they said it in Icelandic first and we were like, what did you say? And then they realized, okay, they don't speak Icelandic, I'll say it in English. They called us pigs or I don't know.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's disgusting.
I don't even remember it. It was not because it was so far back, but because I just don't think about it.
Right. Yeah.
I think the good tends to outweigh the bad, which is good.
That is also good to think about it as well.
That doesn't exclude the fact. That doesn't exclude the fact that actually happened.
That is intense.
So they said something like that, something about monkey or something. Okay, not pig. It was monkey. Oh, they said, is that a monkey? That's what they said. You see, the fact that I can't even remember it is just like...
Which also means that you have the ability to move forward in life, but that for some people can be very devastating. And mainly because you know you're different.
Yeah.
It's not like you need someone to tell you. It's not like you aren't aware from all the other countries in the world. And you're from the UK, I'm from the US,
Yeah.
both places where it's very apparent that you're a person of color, a minority, and there's a lot of history there with colonialism as well as racism, discrimination. So it's hard coming to a place and being like, at first, feeling at ease, and then all of a sudden someone's just shattering it for you.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, I thought we'd moved on from this.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that.
But it was quite late at night, and I'm not even trying to make excuses for these people. So maybe they were drunk, but still, they were trying to have a good time by trying to make us.
And that's how you know they've got a lot going on internally. That's a problem. But keep your mouth shut if you don't have something nice to say.
If you don't have anything nice to say, just hush. Just leave it alone. Yeah.
So in that same vein of being stared at, you also, because there are not very many of us, very small percentage of the population, you don't see a lot of other people like you. Yeah. However, we talked about this earlier. When you do see someone who's a person of color, you're like, hey, hey, black person.
Yes, hey. Like, I actually, on the streets, because I have black friends, like, in Iceland. I've met them at church and other places, and it's funny because some of them were Ugandan.
Interesting.
East African.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you're Ugandan.
I'm Ugandan, yeah. So
coincidence?
I was just like, how does a Ugandan find this?
Yeah, exactly. All the places in the world.
Yeah, because I was born and raised in the UK, and it's pretty easy for people from the UK to come here because of the whole EU thing.
Even though Brexit is trying to
rule but it's like to find Ugandans and Kenyans and people like in Iceland, I think it's nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's some kind of relationship between Iceland and Uganda, and I had no clue about that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But what was the question? How
about like seeing other people like you? So you don't see very many people. I know.
So this whole thing of saying hi.
Yeah.
Yes, that happens a lot.
Yeah, there's we call it like with skin folk, right? So it's like they're not your kin folk, they're your skin folk, and you're just like, it is good to see another person of color. Like I didn't realize how much I miss diversity until I went to New York, and I was like, wow, all the people of color and cultures and things. Granted, I love Iceland a lot.
Yes, I do as well.
But I need my dose of melanin like to see it, and and being able to chat with people, which brings me to a group that I had mentioned to you before shooting. It's called the Black People of Iceland.
I've just discovered this group today.
Yeah.
I've just heard about it today. I'd heard about the other one.
Yeah, Away from Home Living in Iceland. Yeah. Where the group had been announced on there. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of people getting in a tizzy about it who are not of color. So there are a lot of people who are of color celebrating it and being happy and joining the group immediately. In fact, not even saying anything, just joining the group. Yeah. Because the group is for them. Yeah. And it's created by Derek Allen, by the way, who's really awesome. And I just am glad that someone created a space for us to talk about our experiences, to share things that happen to deal with people of color. Specifically, it's called Black people, but it's all encompassing of people of color from anywhere who happen to be living in Iceland. Mm-hmm. And there were people on this Away from Home Living in Iceland group that were just like, well, what if I made a white people in Iceland group? And we're just like, a group called Iceland? I mean, that's not what it would be, right?
A group called Iceland, that's it?
Yeah, like, come on. Iceland is a country of white people.
Yeah, so, like you probably wouldn't complain if it was a group of, Asians in Iceland. Right. Or like Indians in Iceland. Yeah. Because fair enough.
There are some cultural differences, right?
Many different, but then Black could involve Nigeria, like say, for example, if there was an event and, Black people in Iceland event, like a bring and share meal or whatever. One person from Jamaica would bring their meal, and everybody would somehow be able to.
And it's part of a lot of times if you consider, the African diaspora, right? So we were spread all over, and people of color of different shades have been discriminated against. So we need, in general, to band together to support each other and just give each other the space to talk about what might be bothering us, what we're happy about, different things that people who have haven't lived in our skin literally can't understand how you might feel like the person was being discriminatory against you. If you said it to a person who is white, they might think like, no, they didn't treat me like that, and it's like, well, that's the point, right? That's it, yeah. So
a lot of the time here, I've realized that sometimes you are being discriminated against, and you won't even realize it. Won't even realize it.
Yeah, it's like there's undertones, and it comes, I think, not from Iceland, because Iceland doesn't have this history really of having Black people. There's like, I think, a story of this guy who was a slave, and somehow he made it to East Iceland and spawned children or something. So there are people in East Iceland who are descendants of this African man, which is pretty fascinating and totally random. But at the same time, other than that, Iceland doesn't really have much of a history of people of color. Yeah. So they're getting their information from media. And for the most part, media paints us as being savages, people
loud,
who are unruly, and we're just having a good time living our lives most of the time. Just like
that's
hello.
It. Yeah.
So it's hard when maybe that comes into play and people are judging you because they're seeing something on TV or wherever they're seeing it. So, yeah. What about people sometimes not assuming that you live here? So I mean, to be fair, not a lot of people of color live in Iceland.
Oh yeah, a lot of people assume I don't live here.
That you don't live here and that you don't speak Icelandic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you had that?
I've had both. I've had people assume that I don't live here mostly. A lot of the time they don't really assume I don't speak Icelandic. A lot of the time they just usually speak to me in Icelandic, apart from, I guess, at the airport. Like you told me about that experience.
The airport experience for me was really annoying.
Yeah.
Because where I live in Moso, because it's a majority of Icelandic people, they do speak to you in Icelandic. They assume they test it, right? Just to see.
See. I think people test just to see.
Yeah, and I test like what I can say. So like I'm getting much better, but my brain doesn't, think automatically in Icelandic because it's a mammoth of a language, okay?
It's a mammoth,
Whew. But at the airport, I was telling Tabitha that there was a white couple in front of me who was from the US. And the only reason why I know is because they were on my plane and they were shopping in the duty free. So I heard them speaking in English. And, they sounded from a certain area, the Midwest of the Midwest of the US.
Midwest.
Yeah,
you got that name.
And the person who was ringing them up says "Góðan daginn" to them.
Yeah.
And they look at her like, they don't say anything because they don't know what she said.
They don't know what she said.
They have no idea what's going on, but whatever. Maybe she thought they were just being a little rude. Then she asked in Icelandic if they wanted a receipt. And they're just like, what? And she goes, do you want a receipt? So she says in English. And so they finish their transaction, and once she gets to me, which I'm right behind them, she says, hello. Like just, not even like the Icelandic, like hello. But it was like hello. And I was like, "Góðan daginn." And I want to speak to you in Icelandic too. But also, I mean, if you're going to assume they can speak Icelandic, why not assume that I can speak Icelandic too? Like I'm not saying that there has to be that everyone has to assume that you speak Icelandic, but don't decide based off of that only. And so it's made me feel better knowing in the communities that I have lived in here that at least people will initially try. But it is jarring when you're like, when a person goes, and they assume that you don't, and it has to do with your skin color.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm happy when they speak to me. I do know a few Icelandic words, but sometimes I feel I'm still at that place where I feel so self-conscious to speak Icelandic, even just to say "Góðan daginn" or "Góðan dag."
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice just to put yourself in a position to do it.
And I know quite a bit, a few phrases here and there, just to introduce myself and say hi, how are you, things like that. But then for some reason, I'm always so nervous to speak. I don't know why.
It's an intimidating language as well.
Yeah.
And
I think that comes with time.
Yeah,
you've been here long. You've been here longer than me.
I've been here almost 2 years, and I'm not the super confident Icelandic speaker. I mean, there are times when I'm just I want to crawl into bed and I have to do this today. But when I do try to force myself, I speak Icelandic at home with Gunnar. We talk about our days.
Yeah.
And then if I can't explain something, we'll switch into English or something. But for the most part, that's helping me build the confidence, is having a partner that knows that I'm at that point.
Is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just having it could be a friend. It doesn't have to be, a life partner.
I know, but just just having it integrated into your everyday life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So moving on to something that we both also have in common very much is natural hair.
Natural hair.
So having natural hair in Iceland is a phenomenon in itself.
It is.
Because we both have tightly curled hair, and Icelandic people don't have this hair texture in Iceland.
Maybe loose curls, but
not
an afro.
I love when people are I have such curly hair, and I'm just girl, girl, right? Curly hair. Do you want to see some curly hair? Let me take my hair out and wet it.
Let me just extend. Let me just
stretch
this curl.
Exactly. It's like it's like this, and then it's like
the curls are like this.
It's insane, right?
Yeah.
So it's always funny when people are their reactions, because I don't wear my hair out all the time. It's just when I feel like it, and when I do, people are like, "Oh, wait, how did it get so long?" And I was like, okay, shrinkage. First of all, like, and even having tried to explain that. So how was your experience?
You mean when you straighten it?
No, I haven't.
Just letting it out.
Sometimes you can, like the first day washing your hair,
yeah,
right?
it's
shorter.
Yeah,
and then you can do another twist or braid and just to lengthen it. So it will go from like maybe being here to coming down to there, and you're just like, oh yeah, my hair is hanging now, right? I've kind of like laid it a little bit so that
your hair is quite long as well.
Yeah, so I can get like some length out of it. And I've had people be like, how did your hair grow so fast? Because it was the day before. It was shorter, and then now it's longer. And I was like, oh, wow. I have to explain this to you because this is not something that you experience.
Very tightly curled.
Yeah, just falls how it's going to fall. So, yeah. And so what's your experience been?
My experience has been people like kind of fascinated.
Yeah.
Like for a while, like at work and stuff, nobody really said anything, just kind of, guess keeping things to themselves. But when we have like social events and stuff, then a bit of drink.
Yeah,
and it's like
their inhibitions are lower.
Yeah, I find it fascinating. Like it's just like one of those things that you just look at and like, how?
Yeah, it's like what?
Yeah,
what do you want to know?
And I don't think I forget that these people are from like, you know, we had an international team, and people are from other Scandinavian countries, and where there aren't many Black people, and they've not really been exposed to it. So I kind of have to explain that, hey, you know, this is an afro. It works much different to, you know, straight hair. And I just had positive responses mostly because I do kind of like know what to do.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of educating, basically,
it's
which I think is totally fine to do.
But then I also had not an incident, but like I know like these guys are educated to some degree, like watching. Like one of them was telling me about how some women, it's like they spend so much money on their hair, but then don't spend the money on their kids or something like that. And I was like,
what? I mean, first of all, what other people do with their money is none of your business. But also,
I was like, so you're telling me that this is what your education of Black hair is,
and Black women, right? And like, and that's another. They're getting it from media, right?
And
like someone spun some story about whatever, you know, ghetto queens and all this other BS that was like made up for the most part. I mean, most people are just trying to live their lives and do their best, and having hair, the texture that is of our naturalness coming out of our heads, or our ancestry. That's how I think of it. It's our ancestry that's growing out of our heads. It's a legacy that's growing here. Yeah. And it is work, though. I mean,
it's hard work.
You know, I can't just walk out the shower and be good to go.
I've tried that last week, but it wasn't like
your hair wasn't having it.
And that was the first time I'd done that in a long while. But I was just like, I don't have it in me to deal with this today. So I had to just try and re-stretch it again the next day.
That is, the struggle is real. But what about products? So do you ever try to buy products? Yeah.
Do I try to buy products?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Never.
Have you ever found a product that was
I don't even
suitable for your hair?
Because I feel like, one, it's going to be overpriced. Two, where would I even go?
Yeah. I heard of a place called Afrozone. I don't know. I have to look and see where it is.
I heard there's a place in Breithel, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So there's somewhere that exists, but
somewhere Afrozone.
Yeah, exactly. So since you're from UK and I'm from US, do you go and buy products in the UK?
Yeah, I buy enough to last me, and all I really need are coconut oil, shea butter, and some other water-based moisturizer. And then here I just buy normal shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah, okay. So also, when I go to the US, I stock up. So yeah, I do spend a pretty penny on my stuff, but it's because I'm buying in like a lot of it.
Yes.
Just so I have, and I don't go to the US that often, maybe twice a year now.
Twice a year.
So it's like, I'm not gonna
it lasts.
Yeah, exactly. It lasts a long time if you know how to use it and you have products that work well for your hair.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you've just not even tried.
I know. I mean, the only thing I would buy here is like coconut oil.
Coconut oil,
right?
that's it.
Because I don't want to lug that
huge
jar. And I got that from Costco.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things that like there are very few products and nothing is marketed toward us, which rightfully so. It's okay because we're not the target audience.
We're not the target audience.
Majority, yeah. I'm pretty sure like there are many more people who get work for bleaching hair or whatever. You know, so all good. But on to another topic that has specifically to do with our skin.
Yeah.
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
Yeah, which is, and I've learned over the last couple of years how important vitamin D is. Iceland has very long winters in which a good portion of the winter is extremely dark.
Very dark.
Yes. She moved in winter, which is great.
I moved here mid-September.
Yeah.
Well, towards the end of September.
Okay, so you moved in like fall.
Yes, in fall. So it was still bright up until maybe 7 or so. But then when it got dark at 3:30, I was like...
That is 11 to 3.
11 to 3.
Yep. That is the shortest day of the year.
Yes.
December 21st or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody knows about it.
Yeah, because it's
the shortest day of the year is coming.
It's funny because you know after that, technically like things are starting to turn around. They're supposed to. But January, oh my God, it's still dark. You're just like, why? So yeah, vitamin D is such an important part for us.
Yes.
Because it's harder for us if the sun isn't out to then make enough vitamin D.
Yeah.
So do you do anything?
I don't. At first, sometimes I buy the milk, which is fortified.
Okay.
But I don't really take any supplements. I took some supplements a while back, but I just never kept up with them. That was in the UK. And here, I feel like when I come back, I should definitely...
Yeah, it's something to look into. Like Icelandic people use fish oil.
Yeah, the greasing.
Oh,
yeah.
Cod liver oil? Okay.
But has that got vitamin D in it?
Apparently.
Really?
I don't take it, obviously, because I'm vegan.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh my God. My mom used to feed this to us when we were younger, and I've never gotten over that. So even as a person that before I was vegan, I just always had like a terrible reaction to it.
What about the tablets?
They used to make me burp up the taste, so I couldn't. Yeah, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So now I take an oil, vegan vitamin D supplement.
Okay, and you said that it's made a difference.
Yeah,
that's something that I definitely want to do.
I was tested, so I'm blood tested in order to really see, because I realized I was low in iron, and so with that, they showed me other results, and my vitamin D wasn't bad, but it was still low for a person of my skin color. Or a person that comes from a place where it's usually much more sunnier.
Did you do your test here or in the States?
I did here.
Okay.
And they're very thorough. Like, they'll tell you, all your things. So, just, vitamin D, if you're a person of color and you're planning to live here, it is a very important thing.
It's an important thing.
And you don't realize how much is important in your life until you get some, right? Yes. So, like, I don't know about you, but I try to go on vacations in the winter to go to a place I know is sunny, like going to Spain or whatever else, and just being like,
I think I need to make that a focus, because my holidays of the past couple of years have been to cold places. Yeah. And maybe Uganda.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I definitely will do that.
Yeah, and
especially
it's nice
because I see myself living in Scandinavian countries.
And it's like a hardcore Scandinavian tradition, I feel like, to like go to this blah blah place. Yeah. So it's nice. And every time I come back, I'm just like, wow, the sun is beautiful. Another
main very important reason why you need the vitamin D is to avoid like depression.
Yes, that is true too.
And I think a lot of African people, Black people, tend not to believe in depression or believe in mental illness.
It's like a stigma.
It's like a stigma, yeah. But you need to protect yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Your best self comes from what you put in yourself.
What you put in yourself.
Yeah, that's your base layer is your nutrition. And if you're not giving your body everything it needs, it can't help you. And in these harsh freaking winters,
and sometimes you won't even notice that.
No,
I'm getting a bit depressed.
Yeah, and it can roll slowly, and then it's
slowly. It just hits you, and you're like, "How did this happen?"
Yeah, or even having like a daylight lamp, which is kind of off the topic of being of color, but like still vitamin D and all these like things to activate your brain and make sure that you're stable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
it is helpful.
Very.
So we're gonna move on to something that's a little bit more
controversial.
Yes. And challenging when you're, on the end of it. So being fetishized by, it could be men, women. I mean, I'm not really by women, but by men, it's happened for sure. And have you had experiences?
I don't even know. I think I have. Somebody asked me if my body was real.
Wait. I don't even know, like, where do you start with a question like that? It's like, I'm a cyborg. That's like what else would I be?
Yeah, but I don't think that, I'm not sure but usually Black women have different kinds of bodies, like,
okay, like, you know, okay,
yeah. And it's like,
so was it supposed to be a compliment?
Is your body real? Like,
or is it? Like,
I don't know.
Okay. I'm so confused about what that...
I guess it was a compliment, but it was like, is your body real? I was like, yeah. It's
What? Okay.
Yeah. And then also, I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I feel like I don't remember these fetishizing, fetish moments.
Yeah.
But I did go on a very brief and quick date once, and he said, wow, the front of your hand is different from the back. Is it like that under here too?
So like a general kind of ignorance
in
too,
all the
right? Like,
yeah. It's like, what? So you think I have white armpits?
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah. It'd be pretty interesting. Yeah. But I don't think that's fetishizing. That's kind of like a bit of ignorance.
Yeah, it's definitely just not knowing.
It's like, have you never had a Black friend?
Yeah, have you not ever been to like a place where someone is wearing no sleeves on their shirt, right? And you can clearly see.
Yeah.
But maybe
like, I do. I'll show you on Facebook.
Yeah, it's like armpits.
Armpits, yeah.
Sometimes they're darker, right? It's just like,
yeah.
So, yeah. In my experience, it was more of, I was at a party and we were like, chatting up with different people in a group. And there was this guy who was chatting up with me more, you know, and I was like, whatever, no big deal. Like, we're all just kind of like being chummy, if you will. And at some point, he tells me that he thinks I'm beautiful. And I was like, thank you. It's kind of my, but I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not interested. But you're a nice person, whatever. We'll just, whatever. So he ends up saying, not from any prompt from me, right? That he has never been with a Black woman before.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, and you're not gonna be with this Black woman? Like, what do you think is happening right now? Is this your pickup line? Do you think this is something I'm be like, oh my God, let me pop your Black woman cherry? Like, no, hell no. We're all married, okay? But also, I would never find that attractive, even if I were single.
No, I wouldn't. I find the most attractive thing is not to mention color.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just like, I was about to interrupt you when I was like that. But the best thing I had was like just a compliment on my skin.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have very nice dark skin, and I really like that. And I think that's enough.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even class that as a fetishizing.
No.
I think that's just a compliment.
Right, but like to make it seem as if you were to be ticked off some box, or like what Black women are these objects of just sexual interest rather than human beings, that I'm just like the other people here who have interest and whatever else. Like, I'm not wanting to be just something that you can say you had an experience doing. I'm not a thing to do. I'm a person to be with and around and interact and engage. Like, that's a part of being a human being. And that made me so upset. And I've been drinking, so it made me so upset. And I like ended up when the party was on an island, so I had to like wait for the ferry. But I just thought about it the whole time, and I eventually got home, was talking to Goodenough, and I like was like so angry, like I had tears coming down.
Because it's like, almost like it was objectifying.
Yeah, it totally objectified me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is not the type of, I thought coming to Iceland it would be different. And expectations versus reality.
Did you experience that in the States as well?
Yeah, I experienced it in the States.
Yeah, I think I'd even experienced it probably more in the UK.
Yeah, definitely more.
More in the UK.
And it might be too that I don't go out as much here.
If anything, I'm more fetishized by Black people themselves.
Interesting. Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah.
That's the flip side. That's the flip side. I feel like that.
Yeah. Is it in person? Like they're
in person,
saying,
yeah.
Okay. So like catcalling or something like
Not
that,
catcalling, but like it's like, oh, I always liked dark-skinned women.
Okay, yeah, there is. So my a good friend who is slightly off topic, but we were in Barbados, and she's really dark-skinned. And he was like, "Oh, I love them when they're that dark." I was like, "Oh, whoa, damn." So yeah,
but then people would never say that's fetishizing. People only say it's fetishizing
because it's like they figure, okay, it's of your
same
race, whatever. But
to me, I'm just like, oh, it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, because again, you're a person.
There's not even a fine line. There's a clear difference between a fetishizing and a compliment.
Yeah.
There's a clear line. I mean, there's a big difference.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So,
but overall,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is off. Okay, it's still on topic, but it's like things have changed for dark skin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have people who are amazing, like Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
We have Lupita
Nyong'o.
Yeah. And like people who are just being themselves, unapologetically themselves, and so beautiful, and just showing different sides of themselves too. Because women of color are multifaceted. We're not just this specific type of individual who likes this thing and does that. Like, look at us. We're in Iceland, okay? That's not very typical of what you would expect of a Black woman.
No.
But how unfair is that? Is to limit us to, you should stay in whatever place, you know, that you grew up in that was majority Black, or, you know. No, it's just like we live and have dreams and want to do things, and we're doing them.
Yes.
And we thank you for, you know, watching and supporting us as we're doing these things, because that's how life should be. Yeah. So.
I think it's a lot of the time Black people are scared to come to countries like this because they feel like, how will I be received? How will I be accepted? Will I be hurt?
Yeah. I asked my husband before coming if he felt like I would be treated differently. That was a major concern. My mother, my grandmother especially, because my grandmother was born like the late 1920s.
Yeah.
So when she was growing up, like she used to carry rocks in her pocket.
Wow.
To throw at like white men that would catcall at her, so she could distract them, like, you know, if they possibly hit them and run away.
Yeah.
Because she was afraid.
She was that worried.
For like either being raped, being hurt, whatever. So her experience with white people is like, I mean, like, she's friendly to them.
But it's so good that they never told you, hey, don't date white people.
From a very early age, my parents realized they couldn't tell me anything. Like, I was a good kid, but it's like, you taught me to accept everybody, so I accept everyone. And my mom was like, you're right, we were pretty liberal with you, so now you're just accepting of everybody. And you married an Icelandic man. Not surprising. So yes. And my grandmother, she came to Iceland, and she was so happy and delighted to know that she also didn't feel like she was being treated differently. And that is just a beautiful thing. So Icelandic people, thank you for at least the majority of you being really, really awesome that way. And, you know, the dialogue, I think, needs to keep going because there is some ignorance around certain things, as with most places that are monocultural and haven't been exposed, but at least there isn't like an outright objectification of you. Like, you're not like, you know, wanting pushed out of society or anything.
No, it's not like that.
So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that too.
Yeah. And I would love to know, if anyone who's watching this, if you're a person of color, what your experience has been. If you've traveled to a place, if you live in a place where you are the extreme minority, you know, like in a Nordic country or anywhere, really, maybe in Asia, who knows? And what has it been like for you? How is being Black in that place? Let us know in the comments, and we'll definitely see you there.
Yes.
And thank you, Tabitha, for coming on and sharing your experience.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And we are collaborating. So there will be a video that Tabitha will share on her channel. You definitely check it out. Yes. And it's about how to get an Icelandic man.
Yes. I couldn't have done that video without Jules. I couldn't have done it because she was actually giving me advice in the process. Yes. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And follow her on all her social channels and subscribe to her channel as well as subscribe here. Yeah. I will have all of our links to that video and to all of her social channels and mine in the description box. But of course, make sure you're subscribing and have the notification bell clicked so that you don't miss any updates. We've got both like really fascinating things coming up. So
much. And I can see us collaborating more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So don't miss out on what's to come. Okay, people? So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.